Welcome, EA WRC 23. This is day 1 of the 3 days early access. If you pre-ordered the game from EA or the PlayStation Store, this game is an entirely different beast, and I want to get this on the table right away if you are coming from WRC Generations by KT Racing. Now, I've put over 166 hours into that game, and I consider myself a decent driver. But this game, entirely different beast in the sense of it took me 60 minutes just to get my Thrustmaster GT II connected to this. So I couldn't work out what was wrong, tested every single USB port, checked the cables, plugged them out and in. Thought maybe it's a firmware update, that's not a thing on consoles, just in case you're wondering and having trouble connecting this game. Now, eventually I flicked the switch to other and it still wasn't working, and I thought I'm completely out of options. Checking Reddit, finding no answers, YouTube, same thing. After all that time spent and wasted, it was as simple as flicking the switch to other and then resetting the console. Ultimately, got it working, but that was only the beginning. Now, having said I came from WRC Generations, the entire setup and the way the cars feel, the way this game plays, is totally different. It's nothing like Generations. Now, if you consider yourself a good driver and you've never played any of the Codemasters racing games, especially the Codemasters rally games, like I haven't, you will struggle and you'll take some time getting used to it. And not only that, adjusting the settings, especially if you're trying to replicate the feel that you might have had in WRC Generations. So I'm going to quickly jump into the settings now and show you what I found to be the most comfortable for me, but I'm still having trouble. I still haven't completed a single time trial without wiping the car off and causing terminal damage. So now let's have a look at the steering wheel settings basically, and the calibration that I'm using that I find most comfortable at this present time. Okay, so big thing for me right here, steering linearity. I had to turn that to -7. Now there's no sensitivity. How there's sensitivity in WRC Generations, there's no sensitivity here. You basically just have linearity, and you can also go into dead zones and saturation. Now at first I thought, well, I don't want my wheel to be fully saturated, because turning it just 90 degrees is hardly any saturation, and turning it all the way around, I'm still not hitting it. And I don't want to be flurrying around, spinning my wheel twice on a tight turn. Now you don't have to do that. You still want to leave it at full saturation if your wheel does do a 1080 or even a 720. So leave the saturation full. This is my advice. Dead zones, of course, you don't want any for your steering. But like I said, when you go to advanced, you're steering linearity. Now, if I had this turned up to 0 or anything beyond 0, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as you can see here, low linearity means steering is directly proportionate to your input, right? So if we turn it up, what we get instead is higher linearity can make the steering wheel feel less sensitive for small inputs. Right? So it becomes less sensitive for small inputs. Now me personally, like I said, I want to be driving in nice and close. Pretend this is the wheel. I want short, sharp turns to be responsive. Now, if they're not responsive and I turn my linearity up, or even if I leave it on 0, the default setting, I'm going to have trouble making those fine precision movements, for example, crossing over a bridge. So after that, after all the setup, after spending about 90 minutes just getting it as close to what I feel I want right, the game is still going to feel totally different having come from Generations. I haven't completed a single race, start to finish. I've done 2 lessons in rally school, and I basically used rally school just to get the feel right. Now I want to say lastly, before we do jump into a race, that the vibration in this game feels very different as well, and I'd argue less intense than they were in Generations. Now again, for me to show you that, I'll show you what vibration settings we're using at the moment. So we'll go here into vibration, and I've got pretty much everything maxed out. This is the way I had it in Generations. Now, everything being maxed out, the wheel was pretty much just shaking, all right? And you had to have two hands on the wheel to get those slight precision movements instantly. Doesn't matter if it was gravel, doesn't matter if it was dry tarmac. Now that's the way I liked it. I really liked feeling like the wheel was alive as much as I could make it. Now with this, I've got everything turned up to 150, but the wheel is still rather dead. There's very little vibrations if the car is linear on asphalt, the dry asphalt. There's very little vibrations, and I feel there's even less when you try and make a turn. The wheel is responsive. It's not to say it's not responsive, but the feedback I receive to the wheel in this game is miles and decibels different from what I received, especially going over gravel surfaces in Generations. Now, maybe if I played around with the soft lock, which sets the strength for the force feedback and vibrations for soft lock effects, and maybe if I turn that up all the way to 150, I'll have a different experience. I'll let you know. So without further ado, we're 6 minutes into this video. We've adjusted things. I'm happy with the throttle, brake, handbrake. The saturation is good for all those things. Let's do it. All right, we've got paddle shifters on, so we've got a H pattern shifter here as well, but if you're using paddles, the clutch won't be required. Now, I played a lot of H pattern with Generations, but then towards the end, towards the last 40 hours before that game sort of became obsolete, I started using the paddles just to get a little bit more extra time. I might go back to the H shifters, but for now we're playing with paddles. Okay, so we'll go into quick play. Okay, still a noob with the menu. The menu, again, going to be totally different to what you might be used to coming from Generations. Time trial is the one we want. So let's jump to time trial. Okay, so here we are in Oceania. I believe that's what it's written. I thought it was Oceania, but it had an IA. So Oceania. Here we are in the car. We can cycle through the views before we start. Now, me personally, in Generations, I always use the dash cam view. This one's new. So my problem with this view, the cockpit view, was always that you could see the steering wheel. Now I got the steering wheel right in front of me, so I never quite wanted to be able to actually see it on screen. I felt like it was a bit of a waste of space. Now this might actually have to be the view I need to use, because I can't see the bottom right hand corner of the screen where it has my speedometer, my gearing information, because I was using the Thrustmaster LEDs. Now you can connect these, but they won't actually work with this game. So hopefully there's going to be some sort of an update to make this usable for this game. But at the moment, as it stands, this is not usable with EA's WRC, which is, again, I say a big shame, because I can't see that bottom right hand side of the screen. This provided me all my information, my speedometer, my gearing, my revs. This is no longer viable, and I've got this bolted in, so this is going to have to go. I'll be patient, but for the time being, I'm gonna go with my trusty dash cam view and just not be able to see my gears and my speedometer. This is the view I've always been used to. So I want to do right by me now. As you can also see, right before I start, it won't actually start a countdown until I engage the handbrake. Now the reason I don't have to engage the clutch is because we're using a sequential. I believe you might have to engage the clutch and the handbrake to start the countdown, which is a little slower in this game. It's a bit slow for my liking, but I kind of like and think I will get used to just having to flick the handbrake, as you'll see now, for the countdown to start.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, 120. Crest, 450.
I'm just doing it all by sound when I need to change gears. Now, as you can see, not much feedback.
Caution, slight left.
In the steering wheel, hands off.
Leave 3 right. Tightens, 17.
The wheel would be bouncing all over the place in Generations with the vibration this
6
cranked
left
up.
over crest, long. 50. 4 right, long, 140.
Steering feels very different.
Slight left, long.
It's still responsive, but
Tightens 3. And slight right. Tightens 4, long, 120. Slight right, 50.
there's a lot more range of motion
120.
on the control, on the steering wheel as well. You might notice in some turns I need to spin the wheel a lot more, and there's a lot more correcting, there's a lot more involvement.
180. 6 left. Tightens 5, past junction, into left over crest, 40. 5 right.
Okay, that didn't work out too well for us. It's always been hard for me to pay attention to my driving
Slowing, 50.
while talking.
4 right over crest, half long, 70. 4 left, keep in.
Okay. Not a very good effort. We're gonna get to the end now. We're gonna concentrate. I'm still getting the button mapping right, as you can see. I'm taking screenshots. I don't even recall on how to pause this game. Okay, so the struggle is real. That's the headlights. Okay, that pause, but that's still not the pause button. That's not what I'm after. That's a reset. I actually don't think I've got an assigned button to... We found it. 100th time is the charm. Again,
Starts 120.
the struggle is real, but let's focus now and let's get to the end trying to get a positive result. Oh, and there's terminal damage in this. So you hit a wall at 140. Now I'm glad they did this because I said this in one of my old Generations videos. I hit a wall at 140 Ks. I want it to be all over.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 120. Crest, 450.
This does bother me though, how the wheel is just not giving me much.
Slight left, tightens 4, 50, leave 3 right, tightens 70. Six left over crest, long, 50. 4 right, long, 140.
Braking feels very different too. The acceleration even feels different.
Slight left, long,
I consider this WRC, it's a junior car.
Tightens 4.
It feels a lot quicker from memory. When I compare Generations junior cars to this game, the whole sense of speed, it just feels like this game is faster.
4 left, unseen, into 6 right over crest, 40, slowing, 5 left, and 3 right, opens, keep in, 180. 6 left, tightens 5, past junction, into left over crest, 40, 5 right, into crest, into 6 left, long, slowing, 50, 4 right over crest, half long, 70, 4 left, keep in, and 4 right, half long, 30, caution, 3 left, long, tightens, 30, 5 right, into right over crest,
very gentle on the arms. There's a lot less arm work than I'm used to personally.
Unseen, lead 3 left, half long, 70. 3 right, tightens, and 3 left short, 50. Lead 5 right, half long. And 4 left, over bump, keep in, 60, crest.
Okay. So I can see we've got ABS on. Now, I might have to turn that off. Just to get into a good routine of not using assists right off the bat. So that's the first look, and that's the first actual time trial that I've finished from start to finish. It's just going to be an adjustment phase, and I think it's going to be the same for anyone coming from generations now.